Most companies don't fail at AI because the technology doesn't work. They fail because the organization isn't able to turn AI activity into repeatable value. And that is why AI often feels chaotic, stalled, or constantly reworked. In this video, you'll see why that happens, which structural mistake you're making, and why changing tools won't fix the problem. Across Europe, organizations are investing heavily in AI tools, in pilots and in consultants. Budgets are increasing, expectations rise, but meaningful results remain rare. And in practice, this is because most organizations fall into one or more of three failure modes. One, innovation theater, in which they'll do a lot of pilots but don't really see any real business value. The opposite is the department of no, where legal and risk are so dominant that no execution ever happens. And the third failure mode is shadow AI, in which everybody is just off on their own, getting their own tools, starting their own models. This causes some local wins, but it does mean that you have rising risks and you have duplicate spend. And in fact, all three of these failure modes may be happening at the same time in different departments throughout your company. There's not a company who builds a logistics strategy by having the CEO buy 5,000 trucks. But with AI, companies treat buying Copilot or ChatGPT licenses as AI strategy, or we're doing AI. That doesn't work. Buying tools is not a strategy. And in Europe, that mistake is far more expensive. When you treat AI as a collection of tools instead of a system, you don't just waste money, you create real compliance risk, employee resistance, and execution deadlocks. So the question isn't, should we have AI or should we govern AI? The question should be, how do you do these things? In Europe, you need to balance value and compliance, or you'll get neither. That means three things really should matter to you. One, regulation is a real design constraint. There is a lot of it, and you need a plan of how to deal with it. You also have to deal with works councils and other employee rights. Employees in Europe can actually shut down or postpone innovation projects, especially AI projects, that threaten their way of working. In Europe, you can't just move fast and break things, because that will get you fined and in trouble with regulators. And this is exactly why ad hoc AI doesn't work in Europe. You need structure, not to slow things down, but to decide things in the right order. And that's what this three-layer model does. It forces you to answer the right questions in the right sequence before you scale anything. A real AI strategy has three layers. First of all, you have strategic foundations, then you have decision control, and only then can you move to execution. If you skip a layer, you might go faster initially, but it'll cost you dearly in having to do rework or having to even undo entire projects. Instead, what you want to do is build these layers one on top of each other. The first layer is strategic foundations, and this layer answers the question, what are we trying to achieve with AI? And who are the key leaders to get us there? Most organizations fail here in one of two ways. They either avoid doing this altogether and they end up running endless pilots, innovation theater, or they just duck and hide, hoping that AI will blow over. This will lead to the department of no, and guess what? AI is not going to blow over. Your people will use it, you will still have all the regulatory risk. Here are two quick questions that you can use to determine if your strategic foundations are solid. The first is, do you know if you want to use AI to A, shrink your workforce, B, make your existing workforce better, or C, grow your workforce to pursue new opportunities that weren't possible before? If you don't have a clear answer to this, you better decide quick. Your whole strategy depends on it. The second question you want to ask yourself, do you have clear red lines? Have you established things that you will definitely never do with AI or things that you will always do when using AI? These are important because you need clear boundaries for your employees to work within. And if you can't answer both these questions clearly, you are not ready to scale AI. The second layer is decision control. This is all about who decides what, on what criteria, and with what escalation paths. This is where organizations split into two more categories if you ever get to this point. One, you can go the old-fashioned, very slow way and have too much control. Basically put AI in the hands of compliance or risk departments. You will end up doing nothing. Or you can have too little control. Basically everybody just does whatever the hell they want and you'll have shadow AI all over the place. Here are the 2 self-check questions for decision control. The first is, can a team get approval for low-risk AI improvements within days, not months? Because if everything needs a committee, your competitors are going to outrun you, and your employees will move to shadow AI. The second question is whether your AI initiatives are owned by business leaders or by IT, or risk or compliance. If business doesn't own the outcomes of AI, it's not going to stick. AI is a business and strategy decision, not an IT decision. The third and final layer is execution. And most organizations think this is just about deploying some tool. That's not execution, that is installation. Execution means that people are trained, processes are updated, results are measured, risks are monitored, and initiatives improve over time. Again, I'll leave you with 2 self-check questions. 1, are you measuring AI initiatives like you do products, with real KPIs and monitoring? Or do AI initiatives just exist? And the second question is, do AI projects survive contact with the organization? Meaning, are they adopted, integrated, and does behavior change? If not, you don't have execution, you just have experiments. AI is the means, not the end. You are not investing in AI so you can say you do AI. You're investing in outcomes your business cares about. Margin, service, safety, growth, resilience. If you want to know where your organization sits right now, you can also just take the European AI Strategy Diagnostic. It's going to take you about 8 to 10 minutes. It's completely free. And in the end, you'll get a tailored report across all 3 strategy layers, including your exposure to the 3 failure modes.